It's getting there. All right, here we go.
All right.
Hold on a second. Gotta mute everybody. Hold on. Okay, Scott, ready to go.
You just want me to go?
Yes.
Okay. Hopefully everyone's made it into the room and you can hear me. This is Scott English. I'm the Executive Director of the American Philatelic Society, and I want to welcome you to our town hall meeting. Thank you all very much for joining us, by the way. I know that there are a lot of competing demands for your time, and that you took time out of your day to share it with us is something I really do appreciate. As you all know, there's been a lot going on over the last month, and I wanted to have an opportunity, one, to just sort of lay out for you what's happening, and then second, give you a chance to hit us up with questions, with comments, or other things. So I'm going to go through a presentation real quick, and then I'll open it up at the end for questions. So please bear with me. We'll walk through this as quickly and succinctly as possible, and then we'll keep moving. So, as you all know, our operations have temporarily been suspended. That one of the most common misperceptions is that we're closed, so to speak, permanently. The reality is we're just not allowed to access the building. Our staff are required to stay at home under the order of Governor Wolf. He issued that on the 22nd of March, and we have our staff working remotely in their homes so they can stay safe and healthy. And we are limiting access to the building only to maintain tenant relations, because we do have some tenants that are still operating, and maintaining a secure environment, taking in the mail, that sort of thing. Impacted services most dramatically impacted our circuit and internet sales, expertising, and our library operations. Those are the ones that are fully shut down and do require on-site operation in order to be able to perform those tasks. Governor Wolf's order is through April the 30th. We, at this time, are not sure what he plans to do following that date. Today, for instance, the governor did announce that Pennsylvania schools would be closed through the remainder of the school year. So that is some indication that this could extend beyond April the 30th into the month of May. Our current planning has us returning probably no earlier than mid-May or at the end of May. So we have made arrangements in order to function long-term off-site while the pandemic can, we hopefully see an apex and a bend of the curve. Our highest priority is obviously the health and safety of our staff and our members. So everything that we do is premised first on the idea that we're maintaining safety for our staff and for you as well. Everything that we do is well prepared, well taken care of. Any necessary cleaning, continued cleaning that we can do here to meet the CDC requirements, we are doing. So we're managing through tough times. The closure and disruption will change our revenue projections for the year, so we'll have to manage our budget without cutting member services. On April the 3rd, last Friday, the American Philatelic Society Board did unanimously approve for us to seek relief through the Paycheck Protection Program. That's a program that was initiated by Congress under the CARES Act on the previous Friday. And what it does is it provides an amount of money that can pay staff for up to 8 weeks. APS management is also identifying low priority spending items that will allow us to continue member services. Those are the most critical for us, and that we'll be able to maintain those throughout the year. It's hard to say how things are going to play out. The economy obviously is a factor, and we know that we've seen some pretty significant changes in employment and some other things. Our goal is to try to maintain as much continuity as possible, both while we're offsite and then when we return for our operations. Our members come first, so we're going to take every step necessary to make sure that we continue to earn your business every day. Historically, we have a 90% retention rate of our members, and that is a high priority for us. It is as I've often said, the crown jewel of the APS accomplishments are that we maintain membership at 90% on a year-to-year basis. Many membership organizations usually average somewhere in the high 60s to 70%. So the loyalty that our members have shown to us is something we really appreciate, and we're going to return that as we can. So let's go through the affected services. We'll start with circuit sales. Now, we've gotten a lot of questions about this program, so we want to make sure that we cover those bases. Right now, we are accepting, because we can still accept mail, return circuits and payments. We are processing those. We don't want you to have an odd credit card charge show up, a month or 2 months from now. We're trying to make sure that we can process those payments and make sure that you and the APS are in good standing. We are not sending new circuits right now. That does require us to be physically on site, and that's not something we can securely remove from the building and put somewhere else. So as a result of that, we've suspended those operations. In circulation, now we know members are currently holding on to books. Several of them have expressed concern about being able to put those in the mail and send them on to the next. We've also had some members who've expressed concern about getting items to them. So what our guidance has been is that we want you to feel safe and comfortable to send that book on. If you want to hold on to it for now, please do so securely. Make sure that it's well protected, and then move it on to the next person when you're able to do that. Late fines for any of the circuit sale books will be waived through the 1st of January. That way there's no penalty for the disruption in being able to move those things forward. We do appreciate your patience for that. For sellers, please don't send new books at this time. We can secure the ones that we have. We are securing the ones that we have, but what we don't want to do is create a huge backlog at the APS that's unwatched and unmanaged. What we do ask you to do, and I've talked to several folks who participate in the circuit program, they've told me that in this downtime, they've been able to put together more books, and they may, if possible, ask us if we can send them books. We're looking into that to make sure that we can do it, but please keep putting those books together. And when we reopen again, we want to reach out to you and let you know that we're back and that you can go ahead and send those books to us so we can get those into the circuits as well. Checks will be delayed until we reopen, but that is one of our first priorities, making sure that we process payments to book holders so that we can make sure that you get your money as quickly as possible. If you have any questions, Wendy Mazzordi is available by email, and she's happy to answer any and all questions that you have. I have her email address on the screen there. For many of you, you've worked with Wendy over the years, so you certainly know her well. But please, by all means, feel free to reach out to her if you have any questions or concerns at all. APRL. So right now we can get emailed research requests. Obviously, not being able to access the library does have an impact on our ability to fulfill those requests. Scott Tiffany, our librarian, has been triaging those to the best that he can to make sure that we can answer the research requests or provide information that we can, and then making members aware of the delay and other information. So far, everyone's been very understanding, and we really do appreciate your patience for that. Book loans, again, we can't access the building, so we're not able to send new book requests out. For those of you who do have books, please hold on to them. Make sure that you maintain them safely and securely. And when we reopen again, please send them back. For any late fees that would be associated with that, we're waiving those through the 1st of June as well. And if things change, if we end up being closed longer than that, we will also waive the fees. It's not your fault that we're not able to open. We're certainly not going to hold you responsible for that. If you have questions, please reach out to the library staff at library@stamps.org. Like I said, many of those are going to Scott, but he's certainly working with the rest of the team to make sure that we get you a response as quickly as possible and make sure there are no bottlenecks in terms of getting information back to you. Stamp Store. We initially closed down Stamp Store because we wanted to have a plan in place to make sure that if someone purchased something on Stamp Store, that we'd be able to fulfill the order, we'd be able to fulfill the desires that they had in order to shop. So for 48 hours, we suspended operations while we worked through making sure that we had the right operations in place. Now we're open for business, and I am pleased to report for those of you who are sellers on the site, we are getting sales. and we are able to process those. For orders that are being accepted, we are processing the payments. What we've said is you can expect delays. Now, the good news here is that we are able to trickle out sales that go on Stamp Store. So for those of you who've made purchases in the last few weeks, but you have not received your material, you can expect it. It's just going to be on a more delayed process than usual. And so if you're used to getting something shipped out the next business day, which is our typical operating procedure, you can expect it to be a little bit more delayed than that. But our goal is to get those out as quickly as possible. It's important to note, though, for any of you who have purchased stamps, our refund policy, we provide a 30-day back guarantee on purchases that are made off of Stamp Store. That does not start until the day that package is mailed. So to be clear about that, the minute you receive it, you have a 30-day refund. And if you are unhappy, you can send it back. We do have a couple of folks who do that from time to time, but for the most part, people tend to be very happy with the product they buy from us, and we appreciate your business. For sellers, please do not send new submissions to us. I know some folks already have those in the mail. They've already sent them. We will make sure that they are safely and stored here at the APC, but at the same time, we're asking you simply just to keep preparing your submissions right now, and at some point we'll be in touch and let you know when we expect to reopen, and then make sure you send those along to us as well. We're going to get that operation ramped up as quickly as possible so we can get your stamps up and for sale, and hopefully you will enjoy the benefits of that very soon. If you have questions, again, Wendy Mazzordi is our APS sales unit director. She handles both circuit and internet sales. She is available and is happy to answer any questions or concerns that you might have. Expertizing. This is the most dramatically impacted part of our business because it does require us to be on site. A lot of the material gets sent out to experts. So right now we're not able to issue certificates for stamps that we've had opinions rendered. They are, again, being securely stored, and we will begin to process them as well once we're able to reopen. For submissions, please don't send them right now. If you can hold on to them, please fill out your applications. Make sure you are ready to go. And the minute we contact you, we want you to start sending us those stamps for expertizing. Material is safely stored and secured. We have an excellent security system at the APS. I'm not challenging anyone to come and try to work around it, but we take seriously our responsibility for your material and for our own, and so we have maintained excellent security. Local law enforcement also works very closely with us to make sure that they monitor activities at the headquarters when we're not open. If you have questions, please contact Gary Lowe, his address, and Crystal Harder, her address is on there as well. Gary wanted me to pass on this message. We're ready to help. Please keep emailing questions. He has been communicating with a lot of the customers that we have and a lot of other APS members on a variety of expertizing questions, and he is happy to help in every way that he can. I know he has access to his personal philatelic library, so a lot of times he can go to his own reference material and do some research and get back to you on that. He's been a great asset for our members during this period of disruption, and so he's certainly ready, willing, and able to help out in every way that he can. So APS and the APRL response. Obviously, with the disruption, it's been a disruption for you and for us, and we're certainly sensitive to that. Franklin Roosevelt, who was an APS member, who signed up back in the 1920s, and was a member of the APS when he was sworn in as president of the United States. It's one of our prides. And throughout his tenure as president of the United States, he went through both the Great Depression and World War II. And it's notorious that he relieved stress by going to his stamp collection. And during the Great Depression, the White House would release photos of him. That includes this one here. For those of you who are fans of Roosevelt stamps, you know that Monaco issued this picture as a stamp, and it's known as, it's in some corners of the world known as the six-fingered Roosevelt, because the stamp itself makes it look as though he has a sixth finger on his left hand, but it's, as you know, he has five. But we think that quote is important in a time like this because it can be stressful and it can be isolating right now when you're at home. And but we think our hobby is a rare opportunity to go beyond what's happening right now, to relieve stress and to maintain some balance in your life while we get through this process. It's very important that that collectors, I know people don't like to admit it, but collectors are by nature somewhat social. Whether you go to a stamp club, to a stamp show, or you like to share your knowledge with people, you like to interact with people and talk about the hobby. That's the one thing that I've known since I've gotten here, is the great passion that collectors have to talk about that. Well, here's the other side of the equation, which is, while you may be home alone right now, or sheltered with your family, so is everyone else. There is no better time to espouse the virtues of stamp collecting, to share what you do with someone who may not know anything about stamp collecting, to get them to pay attention to what's happening. So a lot of what we do is designed not just to help you in this time, but to give you some ways to share your hobby and share your passion with people that don't know better. We're going to get them there, and I really want you to take advantage of this opportunity for that to happen. So first, the online journals. So on our website, we have the American Philatelist Online, which dates from 2008 to the present. Normally, that's a strictly member benefit, but through the month of May, we are going to make that available to everyone. And we've noticed a substantial pickup in folks checking in on those magazines. This is a prime opportunity for us. Last October, I wrote a column where I suggested that you leave your magazine somewhere out there, either at the doctor's office or while you're getting your oil changed, and try to bring somebody else into the world of stamp collecting. Obviously, none of us are traveling right now, so this is the next best thing. We want you to be able to share this magazine with other people and tell them this is your passion, this is what you like, and this is what you read on a monthly basis. And the same is true for the Philatelic Literature Review. For those of you who are not APRL members, this is a good opportunity for you to understand what they offer. The library, although APS members can access the library, the APRL also has a membership. I am a life member of both the APS and the APRL. And the Philatelic Literature Review is fascinating. And I know many APS members don't get a chance to read that journal normally. So please take advantage of this time to go online, to take a look at the journal, read through it, and hopefully you'll think that it's worth another $18 a year to join the APRL and get a subscription to the Philatelic Literature Review. It's wonderfully written, and there's a lot of great information in there. And there are also great deals on buying literature. So because we get so much donated material, we always like to put that out for sale. APRL Digital, since probably for the last 4 years, we've been working very hard to scan all of the issues of the American Philatelist going back to 1887, as well as the issues of the Philatelic Literature Review. Since then, we've worked in partnership with several different collecting affiliates and putting their full run journals online as well. Not to mention, we have some philatelic literature on there right now. It's a limited universe, one of our long-term projects, and that's something we're going to start on this year when we kick off the Adopt a Book program that we're going to do a little bit later in the year. Scott Tiffany's talked about that in his stamp chats. And we're going to be able to try to transfer some of those hardbound versions of books that we have over to the digital universe. We also have exhibits that you can access through the database as well. There's over 500,000 pages searchable. So if you put in a search, you will pull up every record that's attached to that. So you will be able to find journal articles, exhibits from a variety of different sources. It's fantastic. And so we are also changing the interface a little bit, so it will be even more search friendly over this period of time. For APS members, you have access to this all the time. But we also wanted to make this something that was available as well, another tool that you could use to share with your friends and your family and talk about your hobby. We're calling this the Netflix of philately. For those of you who have that streaming service or at least aware of it, you know that in this time of quarantining, a lot of folks have been switching to streaming services. So we wanted to give you a philatelic alternative to that, and that's a number of different things, starting with the stamp chats, which we do daily during the week. They normally start at either 3 o'clock or 7 p.m. It's a very dynamic group of people from all across the country, really all across the world, because we have international members who are joining in on these conversations as well. And we have presentations going on, great presentations talking about APS services, talking about different elements of philately, and all of those are fantastic and learning opportunities. APS presents. So every night at 8 o'clock, we premiere a new movie. For those of you who are familiar with YouTube, we have a YouTube page and we are posting those. Now, if you're not able to join us on Stamp Chats, we have recorded all of those and they will go up online as well, including this one tonight, so that you can go back and watch it if you weren't able to join, or if you just want to go back and catch a quick note of a conversation that was going on during that chat. Finally, our partner in Graham Beck, he's a fellow APS member, and he's been developing a program called Exploring Stamps for the last few years. That audience has been growing exponentially over the last couple of years. We've been working with Graham. Really, he came to our show in Columbus, Ohio in 2018 and did a wonderful video on that show. So if you want to go back and look in his archives, there is a 10-minute video that focuses on coming to a stamp show like the Great American Stamp Show we've got coming up, and really getting a sense of the opportunities and experiences. But he covers a lot of different worldwide topics. He has a lot of energy and passion for the hobby, and he's also an excellent videographer. He even has a drone, so he tends to use that in many of the videos that he shoots. But all of this is really designed to help fill the space in your time. If you want to participate in the Stamp Chats, we'd love to have you join us. For the APS Presents, we've had a couple of clubs who've actually done live viewings of those when they premiere at 8 o'clock at night, or come back and watch them together in some other way. We'd love to have you use these tools for your stamp club as well, even though you can't meet in person, just a shared experience that we think would be helpful. And the Exploring Stamps is ideal for beginning collectors, for people who are interested in worldwide collecting. So these are stamps that you can share with collectors of all ages. So we'd love to see those get shared more, have people sign up for to the updates to his YouTube page as well as ours. So we would encourage you to subscribe to both. Membership. We started the year optimistically, hoping for the 2020 challenge, which was to get 2020 new members of the APS. We have not given up on this hope. We believe that in this time of crisis, that people are really starting to connect with different hobbies, whether it's stamps, coins, puzzles, you name it. People are really engaging in a way different than they have in the past. And so we want to keep pushing that forward momentum in terms of the membership. We are still accepting applications online and by mail, and it may surprise you, but we are still getting, I think we picked up 13 new applications in the last couple of days. So we're getting people who are seeing what we're doing. Heidi, who's our Stamp Chat hostess, actually recruited a member in the middle of a meeting, and he signed up. He's from the UK, and did a presentation a couple of days later, introduced himself as an APS member. So there are no limits to the opportunities you have to share what we do with other people and give them a reason to join the APS. This month we planned this at the end of last year, but we wanted to go forward with it because we thought it was a useful exercise, and that's the 25 under 30. So if you're a collector under the age of 30, we've launched a digital membership that is all online. If you want to read the magazine, you do it online. If you want to use the services that we have online, you are treated as a member. But we wanted to give them a little bit of a different price, and so we're offering that membership for $25 for a full year. We don't do a staggered membership like we do for traditional APS members. The response has been good so far, even though it's only been a week and a half. We've picked up a few new members already, and we really encourage you to reach out to young people that you know who are collecting or who are interested in collecting, and give them an affordable option, we think, to be a member of the APS, and get them hooked on being a member, so that when the time comes and they're able to pay that $45 a year, they can. Now, I've been asked, so I will go ahead and say this: we are looking at a similar option for APS membership, and so we're working through that even in this time of being down. We're having a lot of conversations about it. So look to see if we're going to do something. We'll probably announce a digital membership for APS members a little bit later in the year that will start for the 2021 year. Education. One of the great tools that we started last year and we're building on right now is the Collecting and Connecting Central Academy, C3A, we call it that because it's, obviously the inverted Jenny is so important to all of us. Right now we have 80 programs available at no cost to APS members. We have not taken down the member wall for that because we are providing so much other content. We did not want to give away that one for free. We offer free programs. We do offer free programs for young collectors and educators that goes through that C3A Academy as well. I think when we sent a newsletter out earlier this week, one of the things that we did is pointed those resources out to parents and grandparents who are at home with their children right now and need some additional information to teach on an education level. We do have that. And so we're willing to provide that information for free. And we really do hope you're able to share that with young folks and get them interested in stamp collecting and let them see a practical application to it. We're going to be offering additional courses at no cost to members. And we have introduced some fee-based programs as well. I'll have a list of those coming up. So here's a call to action. We rely on the knowledge of our members to provide knowledge to other members. We can help you develop a program that's interesting, educational, and informative for people to see and give you a platform to put it on. But the knowledge that's there, the philatelic knowledge, is yours. And we'd really love to have you share that with us and let us take you through that journey so that we can put that out there for members to use. It's good for the hobby and it's good for the APS. If you have questions, our APS education department can be reached at education@stamps.org. Dr. Brockville and Kathleen Edwards are working full time. They're developing video programs, both for fee-based and for non. We've had some disruptions on summer seminar, so they're working on that as well, but there's plenty of activity happening there. But getting your help, relying on people like you to share your knowledge would really go a long way. So we have new course offerings. So we have on-demand courses for APS members. These are long form based on our on-the-road courses. So these are long courses for APS members. It's $25. If you're not a member of the APS, it's $50. Really, the goal is to always price something to make it more attractive to become an APS member than to not be one. So hopefully this is a way of doing that. We have 3 courses we just put up this week: collecting first day covers, competitive thematic exhibiting, and essays and proofs. That last one was Jim Lee. He did that at Chicago PEX last year. He is probably one of the most intelligent experts in this area. He has got a lot of good wisdom, and he is a great resource and a very generous resource. So if you ever take the course, Jim will probably love to hear from you as well. He's an incredibly responsive man and really one of the finest instructors we have. We also offer single course videos. They are $5 for APS members, $10 for non-members. We have a variety of different topics, including FDR as a stamp collector, something I alluded to earlier in the presentation. And those are a joy to watch. They're a great thing to look at, and hopefully you'll get a chance to take a look at those. And we're going to continue to add to that area. Summer seminar. Unfortunately, because of the global pandemic, we had to make a choice. As we all know, our members are among some of the most vulnerable in the population with regard to infection. And so, in an abundance of caution, after consulting with several of the instructors and intended attendees, we decided to cancel summer seminar for this year. Now, we had been going for 40 years straight, and last year was our record highest participation. We had over 100 members here participating in the week-long ceremonies. We had a first-time attendee celebrate his 93rd birthday here, and in fact was planning on returning again this year for summer seminar as well. So I've let him down, and I really do feel bad about that. I hope he's going to be with us again next year for summer seminar when we do have it in person in Bellefonte. In the coming weeks, we're going to introduce summer seminar online for our APS members. You do have to be an APS member to participate in this, and we want to make sure that that benefit stays where it is. We'll be offering live and recorded educational events from the safety of your home. So we'll be doing it in a way similar to this. Now, we're in the process of finalizing a live event platform that we're going to be using that is different than the one we're using tonight. But once we do that, we'll have an ability to do very intense presentations that include video and some other things to it as well. So look for that. We're going to be offering a course catalog with tuition. Obviously, the courses are still going to have a cost, but it will be much lower than what a traditional summer seminar course is. And we'll be able to offer it to more students. This year, our enrollment was going like gangbusters when we opened it up on January the 1st. In fact, in the first couple of days, we had to close out several courses because we had subscribed at the limit. And so we were working to fill in those spots. And when the outbreak hit in March, some folks started to take a pause. They would check in and make sure everything was still going as planned, but they wouldn't commit to signing up. We probably would have had more than 100 again this year as well. And we really hate that we're not able to do that. It's one of the most enjoyable weeks here at the headquarters because we've got so many members here. There's a lot of positivity going on, a lot of fun, and it's like old home week for so many people. And so we're really going to miss having that this year. So for any of you on the call who are summer seminar attendees, we're going to miss you, and we are already thinking about you, and we're trying hard to give you something to do this year. We are planning to have you back as soon as it's safe, and we really want you to be a part of that as well. Instructors are volunteering now to teach online courses. We do have a lot of folks who've already agreed to do it. However, we'd love to have more. The way that we've got this set up, we're going to stretch out the time frame, so it's not going to be courses in a week. We're going to do it over a longer period of time, but it would really be great if we could get folks to sign up to volunteer for being an instructor of a course. I think you'll find it very rewarding if you've never done it before. For those folks who always tell me, I don't know if I'm really the right person for it, the answer is give it a shot. What's the worst that could happen? And so we'd love to have you participate in that. We think you'd be fantastic, and hope you will contact the education department. Email address is there, so you can write that down and email our team today. So we're trying to bring more information direct to your home. As you may have noticed, our emails have picked up. We want to make sure that we're reaching out to you, that we're communicating with you on a regular basis, making sure that you know what's happening, both as the news cycles break, as well as giving you access to the resources. Because we have so much information on our website, we've been working hard to really procure good topics and good information for you so that you can go and find things on the website that you maybe have not seen before, and realize that there's a lot more to offer on the website than you possibly knew, as well as giving you, updates on the newsroom website. I don't know if folks on the call visit the newsroom, but we put information up every day. There's a rich category of topics to cover there that aren't just news themselves, but they're topical discussions of philately and what's happening in the world, interesting articles that showed up in the magazine that we decided to put up online. For those of you who are fans of Bob Lamb's Worldwide in a Nutshell, we have those up online, and you can find a lot of other really useful things there. So please keep checking out the website and visiting that. Great American Stamp Show. This is the most commonly asked question. Are you also going to have that show? And the answer is yes, but we don't know. And I know that's not a great answer, but it's the best one I can give you today. We're still planning to go ahead with the show in August. Right now, we have about 90 dealers signed up for the show. We would normally be working to continue to build that list, but for right now, there's a lot of dealers who are sort of on a hold. One of the interesting things is we sort of have some swap outs that are happening where we'll get contacted by a dealer who will say, I just don't know if I feel comfortable coming, so if you don't mind, I'm gonna cancel my booth. And then I'll get a phone call from somebody else who's saying, I'm going crazy, I haven't done a stamp show in a month. What do you got available for me? And so we still have people who are signing up to do the show today. And then we have other people who are understandably concerned. For right now, we're still planning to go ahead with the show, and we're monitoring developments. We're working with the local officials to make sure that we can continue to run the show. As many people tell me that there's no way in the world that you're going to have this show. The convention center where we're doing this doesn't necessarily believe that. They've been contacting us because they've been scheduling events, one of which is going to come immediately after our Great American Stamp Show is scheduled. And so they're trying to get us to move out quicker, and so they can get those folks moved in quicker. And so we're still in contact with them, and that's going to be an ongoing process. The health and safety of our members, dealers, and staff will dictate the decision. we don't know what's going to happen yet. We're still not sure what's going to happen at the end of this month, let alone what's going to happen in August. But even if the stay-at-home orders are starting to get relaxed by governors around the country, we expect that there's going to be some social distancing measures that will persist long after that, for fear of creating another hotspot somewhere in the country until we can get to an effective treatment and a vaccine, which is going to take some time. So we know that we have to keep on top of this, keep monitoring the situation. We will communicate with you as quickly as possible, as often as possible, to make sure that people get the word of what's happening. But for right now, we're still planning to go forward. APS cares. So when we announced our closure, we got a lot of outreach from people who were concerned about the staff, and understandably. What I want to tell people now is that we've got our staff safe at home. All of them are working a full week. We've got projects for all of them to work on. For those who can't work remotely, we've got other things they can be doing. We did have to put some equipment in homes and things like that so that we could get them operating again. But the good news is they're still functioning as a unit, and we do staff meetings just like this every couple of weeks to make sure that we're connecting with each other. We communicate with each other all day long. It's not quite the same as being in the same building together, and I know some of our staff are really missing that aspect of it. And we certainly miss out on the members coming to visit us as well. But I do want to let people know that the staff is working hard, and we are pivoting on some new projects, much like the staff chats and the videos and some other things. So we've got people engaged in doing some new things. A fund was set up by APS supporters, and we were willing to accept donations. They wanted to do it for staff retention, knowing full well that we would lose revenue, and they wanted to make sure that we were able to keep the staff through this period. For those of you who monitor the economic news, you know the number of unemployment claims that have been filed over the last 2 weeks. And so we appreciate that level of support. So we support this idea of putting the funds there. My pledge to you is twofold. Number one, it is always going to go to the staff, not me, but to the staff specifically, to make sure that we retain them. The secondary request was that if we have funds available at the end of the year, that they be used to serve as bonuses for the staff. And so we will do that as well. We've had an outpouring of support just in a short period of time. We've raised about $15,000. For those of you who are on the call who've donated to that fund, thank you very much for that. On behalf of the staff, they are grateful for the support that they've gotten from the members and the concern that they've shown to our staff. It's really good to know that in a time of crisis that folks are thinking of us enough to reach out by phone, by email, what have you, and then also make contributions to the fund. If you want to make a donation to the fund, please mail a check to the APS care of APS Cares, or you can donate online. There's an option specifically for APS Cares that you can donate money to. And please, again, you have my assurance that the funds will go specifically to either retaining our staff. If revenues don't meet our ability to pay the staff, we will do that first, but it will go to them directly at the end of the year if it turns out that we do have enough funds for that. Right now, I can tell you that based on the management changes that we're making, as well as the federal relief money, I expect that this money will go as a bonus by the end of the year, but we don't know what the rest of the year is going to look like. So I'm grateful that we have supporters who care enough to make sure that we can carry that mission through. How you can help. Please stay safe and healthy. This is our number one priority. If above all else, we want you to remain safe and healthy. But take this time, organize your collection, grow your collection, make sure you're doing business with APS dealer members and supporting them, even though they're not seeing you at a show in some other places. But what I've heard consistently from people who have who've mentioned that they've been going through collections, projects they've been meaning to do for months, years, have said, I found a lot of material, now I'm ready to sell it. And the answer is, well, we've got circuit sales, we've got stamp store, we want you to do that. So please get that stuff, set it aside. And if you can get it ready to sell, once we're open back up for business again, then we want to get back to normal operations when it comes to doing that work. So please keep going through your collections. It's very calming. It makes you feel better. I find stamp collectors are happy people when after they've gone through their collection for a while. And more importantly, I'm sure this is purely coincidence, but I believe, because given the fact that we have more members over 90 than we do under 40, I really do think it contributes to longevity. So please do it just for your own health and safety. Stay in touch with your philatelic friends. This can be a very difficult time for some of our members, and we have been talking to a lot of folks who are caring for a loved one at home and don't really have someone to speak with. So please make sure you're reaching out to the friends you have at your stamp club or people that you've known along the years, and make sure that they're staying connected with someone, and talk about anything you want, whether it's your collection or what have you. Email, phone, get online and talk to them by Zoom. Whatever process you feel most comfortable with, make sure you're reaching out and talking to those folks. Just a reminder, we have a captive audience, and this is incredibly important. Share the great resources we have with your friends and your family. Make sure that they see what you see about the hobby. Give them a chance to explore it a little bit, and make sure that they're learning about the APS along the way. Stamp chats are a great way to see old friends, meet new collectors. Join us. We do these. We have the schedule posted on our website every day, every week, so you can look at in advance and see if there's a topic you're particularly interested in, or volunteer. When we sent the email out on Monday, we got, I think Tom told me initially, 10 people right out of the gate who volunteered to do a chat. We'd love to add you to the list. This is not something we're just doing while we're shut down. This is something we're going to be doing throughout the year now. We've got a lot of loyal members who are joining in those chats, who love what we're doing, who really enjoy participating in those, and have said to us, don't stop doing this. This is fantastic. We're having a lot of fun. We probably won't be doing it every day like we have been during this period of time, but we're going to do them regularly, making sure that we can connect collectors from all over the world. The knowledge exchange that's going on there is just awesome. The American Philatelist. For those of you who are home, don't forget, you have knowledge. If you don't want to teach a course, but you have a gift for writing, by all means, this is the perfect time to finally put that article together you've been meaning to write for years. And we certainly would welcome new ideas for great articles. Over the last couple of months, I've seen a lot of kudos for the articles that we've done on Black History Month, on the women's issue, as well as the Holocaust issue that we have out this month. There have been fantastic articles, and they are all written by APS members. So I can't take credit for it other than it's in our magazine. But Susanna Mills and Tom Lobig are our team that work on that magazine. And Susanna is a dynamite editor, and she's been working with our writers and doing a great job. And so I really do appreciate the effort she's put into the last few issues, and seeing the result of that come to print, and the feedback that we've been getting as a result of it. We want to do that month after month. And so if you've been dying to write an article, you've been meaning to write an article, write us, give us the pitch, tell us what you want to write about. It may very well fit into our editorial calendar, or it may help us define our editorial calendar later in the year when we don't necessarily have all the articles ready to go. So we're looking forward to it. We'd love to build a cachet, and you can help us do that. A cache. We have momentum with online education, and we're going to keep growing. Volunteer to teach courses, and that's consistent throughout the year. This is something where we're getting a lot of positive feedback, especially from younger members who aren't necessarily able to do it in real time, but are able to go back on demand and view the chat, be able to connect with us, find out who the instructor was, and meet a mentor on a topic that they're very interested in. So this has a tremendous ripple effect. We all talk about continuity of the hobby, and this is a way of investing in that. Stamp Club meetings. I've been able to virtually visit Stamp Club meetings all over the country. For those of you who are familiar with me, you know that I'm a member of probably 60 local stamp chapters at this point, as well as countless number of affiliates as well. I am a collector of Stamp Club membership, so I'm very proud of that. But as a result of that, I get notifications for virtual meetings that are happening, and I want to jump in. The Lancaster Philatelic Society of Lancaster County had their first virtual meeting last night. 27 members joined up. I got a nice picture of the Zoom screen emailed to me today from the club president, and it was a dynamite meeting, and I'm very proud to see them jumping into the digital age and really not wasting time sitting around the house, but rather making sure that we're connecting with fellow members. I've been able to visit these meetings. Some of them I've just been there to listen and learn. I got a great lesson from the Wyoming Valley Stamp Club on Monday night in expertising, and so I appreciate that. So if you're having a stamp club meeting, let us know. And if you want us to visit, if you want me to sign up, I'm happy to do it. There is no wrong time for me to join a stamp club and visit and hear what's going on. I've got an invitation to go to one on Saturday afternoon, our time, but it's in Nevada, so it'll be a little bit earlier their time. And I'm hoping to be able to get there and do that. Support our dealer members. We have the largest database of dealers in the United States. We are not just a member organization. We are also an organization of dealers. So we have well over 500 dealers in our database, that many of whom have either a website or an eBay store. If you can search by geography, you can search by subject area, and you can find dealers that deal in what you're looking for. So please go to our website, visit that. We get usually between 1,700 and 2,000 people a week who visit that page and do searches for dealers. So we'd love to be able to pick that traffic up, make sure that we're supporting dealers in this time when they're not able to get out to shows, and really just an opportunity for you to learn more about some of the dealers that are out there. So in conclusion, I am available in any way, shape, and form. Please do not hesitate to mail me a letter. I love sending written correspondence back. Got a call from a member today that I just mailed a letter to last week. You can send me an email. I am very responsive to that. Please call me. That is my direct line. That's not just a mainline number. You are welcome to get in touch with me anytime, and I will get back to you as quickly as humanly possible. But I really do value the feedback, the questions, and the comments that I get from our members. And I'm really grateful for all the support that you give us, and all the information and thoughts that you give us. So we'll make it through together. The good news is I do believe that we can do this together, both for the organization and as a hobby at large. There's going to be some change, but if we stick together and we continue to push forward and be advocates and champions for what we do, we cannot lose. Thank you for your patience, for your support, and all that you're doing for the hobby. I'm really grateful for that. And with that, questions, comments, or suggestions?
Scott, we have a couple people. Robert Mills, I'm going to unmute your microphone so you can ask your question. Robert?
Oh, I didn't have a question. I must have hit the wrong button.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
Well, we appreciate you anyway.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Steve. Steve, you have a question for Scott?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
How are you tonight?
Good, thank you. I'm in Salt Lake City. In the American Philatelist, you have a column called My Stamp Story. I'm just wondering, how do you select people to write that column? I noticed that it's a different person every month.
Yeah, I can answer that for you. Actually, it's all written by members. We take submissions all the time. All you need to do is write about 500 words. Give us a few pictures. Like to see you with your stamp collection, and so it's really for you to write your own story.
Okay, so if I do something around 500 words, send some pictures, then you'll consider the essay then.
Absolutely.
Okay, I will work on that. And that's all I had, really. Thank you.
And those, Steve, I'm glad you brought that up. Those stories, that's something that we did years ago. We stopped for reasons I'm not really sure of, but it's something that Tom and Susanna, I think it really started with, and Tom, I don't want to talk about you like you're not on the call, but it started when we had a member who wrote a very long explanation about an article that we had run in one of the journals. And, you know, he shared so much of his biography with Tom and Susanna that they were both enamored with the guy and just said, you should write a column about this. And so with that, the idea was sort of born out of that, of bringing that back, because our members are, you know, their personal journeys, their personal stories. Every one of all 28,000 of you have a fascinating story to tell. And it's so neat to be able to share those stories with people. So Steve, I look forward to reading it in the American Philatelist sometime soon.
Okay, thank you.
Looks like we have Melanie with a question. Melanie, you're on.
Hi, Tom. Hi, Scott. Thanks for taking my question. I sell in Stamp Store. I was wondering if I log into stamps.org and I go to my account, is that up to date, or is that something that will get up to date later on?
Great question, Melanie, and I appreciate you asking it. Yes, we do have, it is up to date. What we next or tomorrow, I think, would be the day that we would process checks. Unfortunately, we're not going to process checks until we're able to reopen. Now, I will say this to anybody who sells on Stamp Store. The money shows up in your individual accounts. For those of you who are familiar with this, you know what I'm talking about. That money is there, and that's money that you can spend with the APS, but we cannot issue a check until we're able to reopen for business. I would recommend folks take that money and go ahead and buy something on Stamp Store. But however you want to use it, if you're willing to wait for us to get back into the building, we'll send that check to you. But yes, that information should be up to date. And I put Wendy's email address up there for everyone. If you feel like there might be an error there for some reason or another, you certainly can reach out to her. And if Wendy's on the call right now, she's probably cursing me for using her email address so many times. But no, we're happy to work with you if there's an issue.
Let's see. We don't have anybody raising their hands, but here's let's see. Judd Powell says, I think putting summer seminar online every year will allow all members the opportunity to participate. Go ahead.
I mean, just to react to that, I concur. I really like the idea of doing that. I've told people this story before, and so I'll share it real quickly here. We've had some misfires when it comes to trying to record sessions that are done as on the road courses. We did. I sent Scott Tiffany, our librarian, out to I believe it was Pipex one year and a couple of years ago, and he filmed an on the road course that we didn't necessarily think of the logistics very well. And so when we did it, the instructor was standing in front of these two giant glass windows. So for part of the session, you had a great video of this brilliant instructor doing his PowerPoint presentation, and then the sun started to set, and the next thing you know, there was this giant sun beam blaring into the window, and so all of a sudden he became a black figure in this very this bright light, and it completely washed out the screen. So we lost that recording just because of that. We had a similar thing happen at our at the Civil War Symposium we held here last year, where we had a brilliant instructor who was up and did a fantastic presentation for everybody in the room. He had a lavalier microphone on, and because of that, and he knocked it off. And so because of that, you have this great presentation and you cannot hear the audio at all. So we're working our way through those things, and you'll have to bear with us. We're not, part of the reason why I hired a news director, news producer, and Tom, was that he has a wide breadth of experience with this. So I think that we'll get much better at this much faster now. And I'd love to have those summer seminars offered remotely for folks if they can't make it to Bellefonte.
Van Siegling asks, why not add videos needed to qualify for judgeships?
Oh, I'm sorry. I had to think for a second about what that question was.
Yeah.
Now, I know Van. Many of you may not know Van, but if you get a chance to see Van's exhibit on Harry Potter, please do. For those of you who've been in a show where he's exhibited it, if he has to accept an award, he has a cape and a wizard's hat on that he will go and accept the award on. So if you've ever seen this gentleman in a picture wearing a wizard's hat and cape, that's Van. That's a great question, Van. That's something I'm going to have to work with the committee on, to work on developing educational tools. But as we're getting more robust into this, we can build out our library and help focus on some of the things that are necessary like that, so that we can have folks that can take judging courses online, even as a refresher, if they're an experienced judge and just want to go back and sort of review their notes again. That's a great suggestion, and that's one that I'll make a note to contact our chair about to discuss further.
Any other questions? Raise your hands.
And if you're too shy to get on the call, you've got my email address. I get scores of emails every day from APS members and phone calls and letters. And so hopefully for those of you out there who've had an experience to work with me, I am responsive, and I do very much want to get back to every member who reaches out to me and make sure that we're able to engage in that discussion. When we're able to travel again, I will be out and about. I had several town hall meetings planned. If you read my February column, you know that I had a very active schedule planned for this year and getting out to shows. And so now I'm going to miss out on Westpax in April, where we were going to do a general membership meeting, a town hall at Ropax next month, Oklahoma City in June. So I'm going to miss out on some opportunities to be out on the road and visit with you in person. But please don't wait until you can see me in person to ask me questions or provide me with some insight. I really do appreciate it.
Okay, we have a question from Don. Don, your mic is open.
Yes, will the philatelic literature competition that was supposed to be in the summer show be held?
I did not hear that question, Don. Would you mind repeating it for me?
There's supposed to be literature competition at the summer show. Will that still be held?
If the show is going to happen, then yes. If we ultimately have to make a decision to cancel the show, and for those of you who didn't hear, this was a question about the philatelic literature competition that's held at the Great American Stamp Show. It's the biggest philatelic literature competition that's out there. If we're not able to hold that competition there, we're going to have the same issue with the Champion of Champions and looking at that as well. We're going to have to figure out an alternative way to let that happen this year, or the committee may decide to just waive it. But I'm hopeful that we're still able to hold a competition, even if we can't do it at the Great American Stamp Show.
Thanks, Don. I can answer this question from Joel Cohen. He mentioned a number of the recent AP issues have had a theme. What are the themes coming up? Well, Joel, as you know, because you wrote a very wonderful article for us on the Negro Leagues in baseball, we had every intention of this upcoming issue being all about baseball. We delayed that because of the season being delayed. So we hope to get those articles or a themed magazine on that out within the next few months. Question about moving forward. We have a couple of issues coming up that are going to be dedicated to the Great American Stamp Show. If there's a delay or cancellation, we'll have to figure that out. The rest of the year right now is up in the air, Joel, and we're gonna look back and regroup and see what else we can do the rest of the year.
Yeah, just to add to that, Tom and I were lamenting this today because we're putting the May issue to bed, which was already to bed. And basically because of it was the issue was going to be on baseball. So it was going to coincide with the start of the season, as well as with the baseball exhibit that was going on at the National Postal Museum, which subsequently got postponed. And so we, with 10 days to go, basically had to rip out the whole magazine and start all over again. And so we've put an issue together for May. We're very happy with the issue that we have. It's going to be a little shorter than you all are used to, but I don't expect that to be a problem going forward. But we sort of built the plane on the runway. Actually, we built the plane in flight on this one. And so, we're prepared to deal with future months, but this one, it just, because the events just sort of broke down so quickly and cancellations happened and all these other things happened so quickly, we had to make an editorial decision not to move forward with baseball, but really try to bring it hopefully when Major League Baseball comes back and we're all able to celebrate that, as well as the exhibit that's going on at the National Postal Museum. And thank you, Joel, for the question and the article.
Mm-hmm. Looks like Melanie has another question. Melanie, you have another question?
Yeah, I was wondering if you guys could give us an update on the app for mobile devices.
I'll turn this one over to Tom.
Okay. We've had to look at another provider. Unfortunately, we got into the development with our current provider, a company called Yumpu, and we weren't satisfied with their security protocols. We tried to do several workarounds, and they did not have the knowledge that we needed. And so we discontinued on that development. I have another one that does have that kind of security. We have not moved forward with it at this moment just because of everything that has been going on. But Scott and I will be talking about that relatively soon, and hopefully we'll get that together very soon.
Okay, well, I don't want to linger for questions, but I will say this. Number one, since we started doing these, this is the first time we've maxed out the room. I've gotten texts and emails since we started this with folks telling me they weren't able to get on. So thank you all very much. This has been a great success. Now, looking ahead, as we are probably going to do another update in early May. Not probably, we are going to do an update in early May, where we're going to catch you up to speed on how things are developing, what else we're working on, talk a little bit more about some news. So please, if you know someone who didn't get a chance to see this tonight, we are going to post it on YouTube, and we'll be able to you'll be able to view it there. We also ran it live on YouTube tonight because I think we did reach maximum capacity on this. And we would be able to, we want you to be able to see what's going on here. And then we're also going to notify you of our future date scheduled. We'll give you a little bit more notice. We wanted to, I think we wanted to give you something a little special with this one. Part of it is I really want to make sure that our members are aware of the stamp chats that are going on. This is a format we're doing on a daily basis right now. We have a great crowd that comes in every day. We have some new faces almost daily. We've met some very new APS members. We picked up some very new APS members as a result of these chats. And the only thing that they're missing right now is you if you're not participating in them. So if you've got time at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and you want to join us for an hour-long chat about a topic, you go to our website. We always have that very prominently displayed so you know what's going on that day. If you use social media like Twitter or Facebook, you can go and see updated daily. Heidi, who is our hostess with the mostest, no doubt, she does a live sort of brief every morning about what's coming up on that stamp chat that day. You can get the information for logging in and checking it out. But I hope this isn't the only time we connect with you online. I want this to be a part of what we're doing at the APS. We want to be able to get information to you and reach a broader audience. And hopefully sometime in the very near future, we'll have another stamp chat that hits the maximum capacity as well. So with that, we'll call it quits. Thank you all very much for participating in the call. I really appreciate it, all that you've done for the APS. And we're going to keep working hard for you every day, no matter the obstacles that we have to climb over to get there. And hopefully, when this is all over with, we will be able to celebrate this moment as something that gave some positive things to you in your greatest time of need. So with that, we'll call it quits. Thank you all very much. I hope you have a wonderful evening.